Inside this box is a Roadmaster Granite Peak 24-inch girls mountain bike, and Roadmaster is only sold at Walmart, so if you bought this bike at Walmart and you didn't have them assemble it for you, then you were given a box like this with a partially assembled bicycle inside the box. For this video I'm going to show you how to assemble this bicycle. Part of the bike is already pre-assembled and should have been tuned up correctly at the factory, so I'm going to assume that all that was done correctly, and I'm not going to cover things like how to check and adjust the front rear derailleur or how to check and adjust the brakes. The reason why I'm not going to cover it is because to do it correctly it's just too detailed and it would just make the video too long, but I will be doing those things in upcoming videos. So for this video I'm just going to cover the assembly part. I'm going to be using a bicycle repair stand to assemble this bicycle, but you don't need that. You can just you can assemble it anywhere. Just put it on the floor and start the assembly. So first thing we need to do is open the box and get the bicycle out. Now before you start cutting the zip ties and removing the paper that's protecting the paint, give the bike a once over and make sure that none of the parts are bent or broken, and make sure that everything is there. Open the manual, look at the parts list, and make sure that everything that should be there is there. At this point, if there is a problem, you can just simply throw the bike back in the box and take it back to your store and get another one or a refund or whatever. Since I am going to be using a repair stand, the first thing I am going to assemble is the seat and seat post. So here is our seat and seat post. The seat comes pre-assembled and attached to the seat post. They're held on. It's attached using two 14mm nuts on each side of the seat. You might want to check these, make sure they're tight after you install the seat post into the bike. Throughout the video, you can use an adjustable wrench on these nuts and bolts. However, I don't recommend it because they're sloppy, and it's easier to make a mistake and round off the nuts or bolts using an adjustable wrench. So from this point, I will always be using either a boxed in or an open in wrench on all the nuts or bolts. On this seat post, there are lines here. These are called minimum insertion lines. When you install the seat post into the bike, you want these minimum insertion lines to be below the seat post clamp. You don't want to be able to see them. And you know, over time these parts will corrode. So I'm going to be applying some anti-seize compound to the seat post. If you don't have anti-seize compound, you can just use a lithium-based grease, and you can buy that at your local Walmart or auto parts store. Also, this compound that I'm going to apply is real silvery color, and it's going to cover up these minimum insertion lines, so just make sure you remember where they're at if that happens to you, so that you don't or that you stick the seat post far enough into the bike. So here's the anti-seize compound, and that will just help prevent corrosion and rust. So now we're ready to insert the seat post into the frame. On this bike, the seat post is clamped down using this quick release, and the way that you adjust this is you can, on the other end of this lever here, you can tighten or loosen this to change how much clamping force the quick release has. Also, before you insert the seat post, you might want to take your finger and lightly rub around the frame area here and look for any sharp edges. If there is, they can scratch the seat post. And the way that you get rid of them is just lightly file them down, or you can use emery paper to smooth it out, but this one's fine. And then you can insert the seat and seat post and clamp it down. Remember, your minimum insertion line should be below this this part of the frame right here, and you can adjust the seat height now to fit your body size. and then just clamp it down. The next thing I'm going to install are the handlebars and the steering stem post. So I'm going to cut all these zip ties. At this point you can remove all the zip ties and remove all the parts if you want. I'm going to be using a pair of dikes to cut these zip ties. And then be careful about, I hate to hang this using the cables to hold it in place, but anyway, that's the next thing we need to deal with. This bike comes with a quill type steering stem post, and the way that it works is when you insert this into your headset and tighten this bolt down, it pulls this piece this way towards this post, and it slides out like this, causing this piece, this whole piece, to bind inside of the headset. So a couple of things I'm going to do to prep this is I'm going to put some grease on this just so that it slides easier, and also I'm going to apply some anti-seize to the post. And just like the seat post, there are minimum insertion lines here, and when you insert this into the bike, you want these minimum insertion lines to be below the headset. Unfortunately, I can't get this closer to the camera, so if you don't see it in the camera, just know that there are lines here to be aware of it. So I'll put some grease on that this piece. And then I'm going to put some anti-seize compound on the steering stem post. Now I am ready to install the handlebars and steering stem post into the headset right here. But before that, before I can do that, make sure that your forks are pointed in the right direction. Your V brakes or linear pull brakes here should be pointing towards the front of the bike, like this. Now we're ready to insert the steering stem post into our headset. When you do this, make sure that none of your cables are binding, and go ahead and insert that. Make sure that your minimum insertion line is below the headset, and then you can adjust this up or down to match your body size. And then when you have everything lined up, go ahead and tighten down this bolt. It's a 6mm Allen wrench at the top here. And then make sure everything moves freely and nothing's binding, and then I'm going to take a rag and just clean this off. Now I need to reposition the handlebars, and they are held in place by this 6mm Allen bolt here. So I'll take my 6mm Allen wrench and loosen that up. Then I can turn them and position them where I want, and then tighten that back up. Then I need to reposition this reflector, which is already loose. Just point it forward, and then it just tightens down with a Phillips screw. Now we're ready to install the front tire, and what I want to do to get ready for that is they put a little plastic block in the fork dropouts here, so you want to remove that. It just pops out. I'm going to get rid of this styrofoam, and then I'm going to take my tire, and there, if you look at the tire, there are arrows that show the direction of rotation. And let me see, I lost it now. Oh, here it is. You can see it right there. So when you install the tire, you want the tire to be positioned so that when the bike rolls forward, it rolls in the direction of this arrow. So this is how I would want my bicycle tire to go on. If I turn it around and try to do it the other way, my tire would be rotating in the wrong direction. Also, on each side of my front wheel axle, I have a axle nut and I have an axle washer. I want these two, the axle nut and the axle washer, to be on the outside of the front forks when I insert this axle into the dropouts, so the dropout will fit right here. Also, this odd shape on this axle washer will fit right into this hole right here, and these are on both sides of the on both fork legs. Now, before I can install the front wheel, I need to separate the brake pads, or make this wider, because the tire won't fit in between these brake pads. And the way that you do that is just hold this brake lever, and this is called the noodle. Just pull the noodle in the opposite direction you're pushing the lever in, and then lift it up out of this, and then just set it like that. And then now we're ready to install the front wheel. Now, to install the front wheel, take your front wheel axle, push the axle up into the front fork dropouts. Make sure that the axle washer fits inside of those holes that I showed you earlier. And hold on. And then make sure that the axle is pushed all the way up into the fork dropouts, and then tighten the nuts down. The axle nuts are 15 millimeter in size. They don't give you torque specs, but just use common sense when you're tightening this stuff down. Now, make sure the wheel is centered correctly, then compress your brake levers and reattach the brake noodle. And that's it. Now we're ready to install the pedals. The pedals are marked left and right. There's left and there's right. To prep these, I'm going to be putting some anti-seize on the threads here. Just like this. And that's enough. And then to install them and tighten them down, I'm going to be using a pedal wrench, but you can also use a 15 millimeter opened end wrench to do it. And one very important thing is, normally threads, when you tighten something, it's they have this saying, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So you turn it clockwise to the right to tighten it, and then left to loosen it up. That's how threads are normally. But on the right pedal, it's right to tighten, left to loosen. But on the left pedal, it's left to tighten and right to loosen. So remember that when you're doing the left pedal. And when we say right and left, we're talking about right as we're sitting on the bike. Not right as we're facing the bike, so it would be the opposite. It's as we're sitting on the bike. And with this bike, the crank arms are labeled left and right. So, and here's my right crank arm, and you can see it's labeled with the R there. So we're going to turn this clockwise to tighten it. And then I'll take my pedal wrench and tighten it down. Just like that. Then I'm going to repeat that on the same side, on the left side, but just remember that when you tighten your left pedal, you turn it counterclockwise to tighten and clockwise to loosen. Now I'm going to put air in the tires. If you want to know how much tire pressure you should put in the tires, just look on the side. What it will tell you to inflate. Like here it says inflate to 50 psi. So going to do that on both the front and rear tires. And that's about 50 psi. And then we'll repeat that on the front wheel. Alright, so this is the bike fully assembled. Got all the paper removed, all these zip ties, all the garbage. And I will be going over how to check and adjust the brakes and the front and rear derailleur in the near future. So stay tuned for that. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments section, and thank you for watching.